Hello, everybody, and welcome back to In the Stands, and welcome to our round four preview for the NRL for 2021. D is back on the podcast, so how you going, D?
Yeah, good in yourself.
Yeah, not too bad.
It's good.
So we're going to cut straight to the first game of the round. It is the Manly Seagulls up against the Penrith Panthers at Land. Manly come from a fairly disappointing performance last week, and Penrith a very close game up against the Melbourne Storm. So, what are the ins and outs for Manly, Dick?
So the ins, there's no outs for Manly as I can see. The ins, Topalutu comes into the side. Boyle, Harper, and Funa have also entered. Coming into the bench, Boyle, so he starts, and Sipley, I believe, has been dropped out of the side from last week's performance.
Yep, and for Penrith, Dylan Edwards is out. I think was it his? What did he do? I think he broke his hand. I think he broke his hand. Yeah,
Oh
bit of
yeah,
a
I think
broken
so.
hand. Big in, obviously the biggest in for the Panthers. Nathan Cleary is back. So that's a huge in. Stephen Crichton goes to fullback, so it'll be interesting to see him at fullback. Looks pretty exciting. Um, Matt Burton goes to centre, and Tyron May comes onto the bench. Um, for Penrith. So, obviously, Manly fairly disappointing last week. Do you think they'll offer anything different at home here, or do you think Penrith will roll them?
Penrith, they should roll them after that brilliant performance against Melbourne, only just surviving. Um, Yeah, there's not much to say about Manly. They've just haven't been very consistent and they've been very poor. Thought they were a top eight side. It looks like they were, but you can tell Tom Trbojevic, he means a lot to this team.
Yeah, for sure. And the Panthers very good last week. No, probably should have lost the game, but I thought take nothing from that. Nothing. Obviously, Melbourne very impressive still, but Penrith came away with the chocolates. In the end, some very outstanding performances for Penrith. And they're getting better and better. By the rounds, by the games. So it's a pretty will definitely not be an even game here, in your opinion, I assume. So I've said the same here. So what are your tips for the game?
Look, it's quite easy here, I believe. I got Panthers, and I reckon they're winning 18 points by 18 points. And I'll be doing first try scorer.
Yeah, sure.
My first try scorer, I'm going to go with, I reckon, To'u. I haven't seen him score in a while for the first try scorer. And my anytime try scorer, I'm going to say Paseka. I think he's been brilliant, in my opinion. I'm glad Seagulls have now started him, so I've got him at the anytime try scorer.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so I've got Penrith winning 32 points to 16. I think that'll be way too good for Manly. And my first try scorer is Paul Momorovsky. So
Nice.
the next game, a double header. The Bulldogs up against the Rabbitohs on Good Friday. So what are the ins and outs for the Bulldogs?
The ins and outs. Well, they've got two outs. Jerry Marshall King is out. I'm not. Marshall King has a mid-foot ligament injury, and
Yeah, so he'll
Josh
be out for a
Jackson
fair
is
while.
suspended for a crusher tackle. So the ins: Brendan Wakeham, Chris Smith, Dean Britt, Jackson Topany, Lachlan Lewis, and Matt Dory. So it's gonna be interesting to see Lachlan Lewis in that number six position, in my opinion. He didn't play last week, did he?
Nah, so he got dropped.
Yeah.
Jake Averilli got dropped. So do you think that's a good selection by Trent Barrett to drop
Yeah, I
Averillo?
definitely do. Oh yeah, Avarillo's been very, very poor. I thought he was going to be outstanding player coming into that number six position, but
Hmm.
I like Lachlan Lewis, and I like to see the talent he brings to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, for sure. I think he had a fairly good game on the weekend. I didn't watch it, but I think if he's playing for the Mounties, he had a fairly good game. So
Yeah.
isn't Lachlan Lewis and Cole Fanning are quite similar plays, so we'll have to see how that goes. Corey Allen moves to the wing. I did not see that at all. So Meany and Corey Allen swap
Oh,
spots. Quite
interesting.
interesting. I don't know about Corey Allen on the wing. He's a fullback, out and out fullback. He can play on the wing, but he was very good at the Rabbitohs, but hasn't really got his opportunity yet. At the Bulldogs, so that's what they've made there. And for the Rabbitohs changes, I think their side is exactly the same. Yeah, I think it's exactly the same side in the here. Here we go. Junior Tola did not train with the side, so he might be ruled out late.
Yeah.
Liam Knight is ruled out indefinitely, so that's a big out for the Rabbitohs. So Good Friday clash here. I think the Rabbits will be too good in this one. So I'm into the Rabbits 28 points to 8, and my first try scored Alex Johnston. But I just think bat pullers have been very poor. You know, you see some teams that look like they're trying. Some players with the ball look like they're trying, but they just don't have the class to win those games. But the Broncos, they lost 24 now. That's against the Broncos. No offense, but to any Broncos fans, but the Broncos wooden spooners last year. You need to score at least a point. Plus the week before lost 28-0. So really not good enough for Canterbury. So yeah, I'm tipping Rabbitohs to win by 20 points.
Yeah, look, I've got the Rabbitohs as well, definitely, and I've got them by 24 points. My first try scorer, I'm going to go for Mansour. I reckon he'll get over the line after his poor performance, but he's been quite poor actually for the Rabbitohs, but he hasn't got much of the ball. But I reckon he'll cross over the line for the first try scorer.
Uh, I thought Mansell improved last week. I mean, I thought he had
Oh yeah,
a fair
definitely.
few carries, scored his
Oh
first
yeah,
try.
definitely.
Scored his first try for the Bunnies, but yeah, for sure. Obviously, you can tell that Wayne Bennett isn't afraid to swing the axe and drop him
Oh yeah,
or drop
definitely.
Paulo,
Definitely
but
not.
Paulo was I think poor a few weeks ago. So, but I mean, anyway, moving on. Next game. This is the second game on Good Friday, so double header, both on 9. Nines were Wider Sports. You know what I mean, anyway. So it's the Melbourne Storm against the Broncos at Amy Park. They weren't too sure whether we were playing at Amy, but they've confirmed it, and the Broncos are safe to fly down to Melbourne. Um, ins for the Melbourne Storm. Ryan Pappenhausen is in, huge, massive in for Melbourne, and um, Nico Hines moves to the reserve. Surprise! I thought he had a fairly good game. I wouldn't be surprised if he came into the interchange bench, but I think I kind of get why Craig Bellamy is doing that because of Nico Hines is necessarily a hooker. He's a halfback or 5'8" halfback, fullback. But Tyson Smith is a hooker, so I don't see Brandon Smith playing hooker the full game. So good idea there. Outs for Melbourne. I don't think there is any outs. Yeah, so there's a few players still out for Melbourne. It says Harry Grant may be back next round, as well as Felice Kafusi and Dale Finucane. So there you go. So not too many ins for Melbourne apart from Ryan Papenhausen. What about the Broncos?
Well, two big ins for the Broncos after their win. Payne Haas is back from suspension, and Matt Lodge is back from his hamstring injury, which gives a huge boost for the Broncos. And Pangai Jr. and Thomas Flegler have moved to the bench, and that's quite an interesting one what they have done there, Broncos. But we'll see how that works. Because I like
Yeah,
Pangai. I think he's been playing quite decent actually.
I agree with you there. I can kind of see why they've done that. I mean, Melbourne's bench isn't as good as it has been in the last few years. Last year they had the best bench by far. Tino, big Nelson, and then they had Kamikamica as well, Christian Walsh. So they're trying to rival that up. But I think forward pack wise, I think they're not directly even here. But do you think they at least have a bit of a contest here? Obviously, one's a premiership winning forward pack, now the other one's a wooden spoon winning forward pack. But
Yeah,
you can kind of see how they even out a little bit. Payne Haas is back, but I don't know what he's going to do on his first game back.
very true. Well, this might be a tight game actually, Dylan.
You reckon?
Could be. It could either be one of those games where Broncos just get hammered and they give up, or it could be one of those games where they actually put something in and actually give it a go. This
Could
could be
be.
closer than other people think.
Hmm. So, without
I'll
further
wait and
ado,
see.
what are your tips then?
Well, I've got Storm. I think I've got them only by 10. First try scorer, I'm going to go Pappenhausen back, so go back to his try scoring form.
Well, if you're not surprised, I'm tipping Melbourne by about 30. So I'm going Melbourne
Far
46
out.
points to 12. I mean, how are Broncos realistically going to crack Melbourne? I don't see them
Yeah.
unless they tire them out. It's at home for Melbourne. I know
Yeah.
one thing I might hold the Broncos a bit. They come off a good win against the Bulldogs, which give them a lot of confidence. They've got nearly a full strength side, so that will boost them a lot. But halves wise, Anthony Milford, Brody Croft, they're rubbish compared to the great
Yeah.
combination
Not thank you.
Papanaz and Munster. Nah, I think the defense will be way too good, Melbourne, and they'll just roll them here. So I'm going Melbourne 46 points to 12, and my first try scorer is Justin Olam.
Very nice.
Next game was Super Saturday. The first game at 5:15. They've changed it. It is the first of a doubleheader at Australia Jubilee Stadium. It is the Cronulla Sharks up against the North Queensland Cowboys. I think this game was originally at 5:30 and they've changed back to 5:15 because they're not allowed to play any games in Queensland this round. So there you go. So for the Sharks, I think Mawena Hiroti is in for Sione Katoa, so he'll be out for a fair few rounds. Britt Nakora is out as well, so Teague Wilton I thought was very good defensively last week. Cronulla lost the whole bench last week, so I think he deserves that starting spot in a way. But anyway, other ins, Brain Shrindle isn't on the bench. I don't think he played last week. Franklin Pele's in the reserves. Andrew Feeder's in reserves, and I think that is it for the Sharks. I think so. Yeah, that's it. So Sharks lost the whole bench last week. Heroic performance, but obviously fell to Parramatta's under strength. So what about the Cowboys? Obviously, very poor performances of the past few weeks, and they've made a few changes as well.
Yeah, they sure have outs. Mitchell Dunn, Ruben Cotter are both out. And I believe Ruben Cotter has done something. I'm
I
not
thought
quite
I thought
sure.
it was
Can't
just
see
been
it.
dropped. I'm fairly sure he's just been
Yeah,
dropped.
most likely he has.
Oh no,
Along
he's
with
ruled
Mitchell.
out through injury.
Oh, okay, yeah, I thought it was. But there's been a few axings, I believe, here. Valentine Holmes goes back to fullback. Um, Ben Hampton in the number 7. That will be a very interesting one. And Scott Drinkwater goes back to number 6. Reece
And then
Robson,
Eastside
the hooker.
Masters, Clifford's been dropped.
Oh, he sure has. So the end, sorry, Ben Hampton, Ben Condon, Connor, Connolly Lemului, Griffin Naimi, Peter Holler, and Shane Wright. And Clifford's gone, so I don't think he has been playing quite shocking actually, but I don't mind Joe Clifford, but I see why they've dropped him.
I don't understand Ben Hampton. He's a utility player. I don't
Oh,
know
I don't
why he's
get that
playing
either.
halfback.
Neither.
Scott Drinkwater shift from. I'm happy he's playing 5'8". I'm happy Valentine Holmes is playing fullback. Obviously, Michael Morgan might medically retire, and apparently they're saying Clifford wants to backflip on his deals with the Knights for next year because of Ben Hampton. Sorry, because of Michael Morgan possibly retiring. But obviously Cowboys not good at all last few weeks. Pretty dreadful. The defense has just been lackluster. Josh McGuire's come out and said, "Oh, he's embarrassed. He said it's been the same shit for the last 3 years." Obviously, what's the coach's name? Todd Payton really want them getting up for this one. But how do you see this game laying out?
Well, the Sharks, I think they're actually doing better than other people think. I didn't think they'll actually go this well. Um, they did all right against Eels for the first half, but they had no bench in the second, and they just let in all the points, and they did really well against the Raiders towards the end. I've got the Sharks here. I reckon they'll get their second win of the season or first.
Uh, First, no, second.
Second. So hopefully they'll get their second win of the season. So I got the Sharks here, and I've got them by a fair few. I've got them by 18. Cowboys, they just doesn't seem like an exciting team here. Their halves, they're just shocking compared to the Sharks. Matt Moreland's actually been playing alright. So yeah, my first try scorer, I've got Connor Tracy. I reckon he'll get over. I think he's been playing brilliant off the bench. What about you, Dill?
Yeah, I've got the Sharks here definitely. Yeah, I don't think the Cowboys score too many points, so I'm gonna go Sharks by 18 as well. Sharks 28 points to 10. And my first try scorer is William Kennedy. I thought Will Kennedy's been very good, probably their best player. The first few rounds has been excellent. So I think he'll score the first try. Next
Nice.
game is a very interesting game. They've shifted from the Gold Coast down to Cronulla or Strata Jubilee Stadium. It's the Titans up against the Raiders. So the game originally was 7:30, I think, in the Gold Coast. It would have been 6:30 technically, but in Gold Coast, but they shifted it down to Cronulla because of the COVID-19 protocols. So, how do you think the Titans are going, and what changes have they made?
Well, I think the Titans are actually doing all right. Their first round, quite ordinary, but they rose to the challenge in the round two, round three. Round three was an absolute hammering against the Cowboys, and round two, a group against their rivals, the Broncos. So, Brian Kelly is back from a broken hand, and he's included in the reserves, and he could be a late addition to the lineup. Gold Coast have named the same 17. Apart from a swap,
And they've swapped.
which Tyrone Peachy comes into that lock, and Fomasuliawi goes to that 10. What do you
Yeah,
think about that,
I
Dylan?
think that's a good idea. Really good idea putting Peachy at lock. I thought he was excellent last week. He can rove around the field rather than Tino. He's more of a big body. Normally running forward. He can run sideways and stuff, but I think he'll get a lot more ball. Tino, front row moving forward, so they'll be good. And then Peachy can rove around the ruck and cause some havoc everywhere. And Fodawaker with the bench, what an asset. I think he'll cause obviously a lot of the obviously Tino for feeder Fodawaker will cause an absolute havoc for the Raiders to defend. So yeah, I think that's a good selection there.
Forward
Um,
back is unreal.
I know it's excellent. For the Raiders, Ings, Curtis Scott is out with a broken leg for a few weeks, 1 or 2 weeks. So Sebastian Chris is playing in the centres. Then you've got Hudson Young is back in the second row. Tarpany is out as well for a few weeks, so he's back at Ryan Sutton's placing him a lock. I thought Sutton was very good last week off the bench. So he's playing lock, starting lock. And Dynamis Lou is back as well. He was named the starting side last week, but he was dropped late. So he's back in the starting side. Tom Starling's on the bench, along with Harvey Sola and Ryan James. So the Raiders last week, bit like Cronulla, lost nearly all their bench. They did have that call goal. Let's see, they were leading. What was it, 31-10, which they
Yep.
lost the game. They had a 21-point lead and they choked. But you could argue and say, oh, they didn't have a bench, they didn't defend right. Curtis Scott was playing with a broken rib. So that was a weakness there, and they didn't have a bench. So obviously a lot of forwards were getting tired. But first grade standards, they probably should have at least defended. If they had 21-point lead, you think that at least defend a few of their tries. But there was that, obviously, that previous blatant forward pass there to Murdoch Masilla, but I'm not going to be talking about that. Anyway, Raiders, very impressive the first half, and they laid back a bit the second half, and they lost the game against the Warriors. But I think they'll have to kick back here, and I think they'll get a win here against the Gold Coast. So I'm going to tip the Raiders here. Close game, Raiders by 8. I think they'll get a little bit too much class at the end. So I'm going the Raiders 26 points to 18. And my first try scorer is Jack Whiten.
Very nice. Now, 2 hookers on a bench. What do you think? That's, I don't know.
Which one was that?
Harvili and Starling on the bench. They're both hookers.
Well,
Harvili can play second row, but I don't know
Harvili-
about that.
Look, Harvili's not going to play hooker at all. He won't. I hope he doesn't ever play hooker. He should never play hooker again in his life because he can't pass the ball for shit. Starling's very good. I like Tom Starling, but I don't know who else they'd put in the bench apart from Harvili. Amre Gula maybe, or Horsburgh or Haru, but I don't mind that shade. Thought he was decent last week. But Brady's got good depth, so I don't think that's a worry too much. But what are your tips for the match?
Uh Titans, they looked to win this after a poor performance from the Raiders last week, but they didn't have a bench, as you said before. But I'm gonna go the Raiders this time, and hopefully we'll see them win. And I've got them by 4 points. It's gonna be a tight one in my opinion. It'll be the forward packs that own this game in my opinion. So I don't think it's much of the backs. It's more of the forwards. This forward matchup is ridiculous. So I got them by 4, and my first try scorer, I'm gonna go Sebastian Chris. I reckon he'll cross over the line again.
Fair enough. All right. Moving on to the next game on Sunday, on Easter Sunday. It is the Newcastle Knights up against the St. George Illawarra Dragons. Good
Yeah.
contest here, the Knights and the Dragons. A big out for the Dragons. Ben Hunt is out. With a broken leg, he'll be out for six to 8 weeks, I think. Jack Bird is suspended. Dragons last week, very impressive. Obviously, I tipped them to win the wooden spoon, but now they might be towards. I don't know. I don't know if they'll be contesting for the eighth, but I think they'll be around that 10th to 12th position. I think they got a good chance, and they got some good form. Cora Norman's actually playing decent football for once, and Ben Hunt's looking good. Adam Clune comes in for Ben Hunt, and Bramley Alamy comes in for Jack Bird. So I felt impressive the Dragons, and what do you think about the Knights?
Well, the Knights, I think that goes to show that they're not a top 8 side after losing to the West Tigers. It was quite of a shocking game, to be honest. There's a lot of errors and all that, but I don't know if the Knights are a top 8 side in my opinion. But the ins, Blake Green, Solo, Sasagi, and Toa have all included in. Blake Green is on the bench at the number 17. Um, Mitch Barnett has suffered a minor calf injury, and he has to prove his fitness. Um, Safidi has been named. Green is back from the ACL injury. Brendan Best remains sidelined, and that's really about it.
Yep. So look, who are you gonna tip in this game?
I've got the Knights here, but the Dragons, who knows? But without Ben Hunt, I don't think they can win, in my opinion. I
Yeah,
think he was a
agreed.
star against the Cowboys, but I've got the Knights here, and I've got them by 8 points. I reckon it'll be a tight one, or it could be a thrashing, and it could go to 18. But I've got them by 8, and my first try scorer is going to be Kurt Mann. I reckon he's played all right.
Yeah, it's a hard game to tip here. Look. There's no doubt. I'm definitely tipping Newcastle, but I don't know how much. As you can right, you said
Yeah,
it could be by 3 tries. It could be by two. So I'm
yeah,
gonna tip them by 10. I'm gonna give the Knights 26 points to 16. I don't know. It's a really hard game to tip, to be honest.
yeah,
If Knights are Calimpong, I'd say by 2018, but gonna and no Ben Hunt. If they had Ben Hunt, I would give Dragons a big chance. But at
yeah.
home, Newcastle, I'm gonna tip the Knights and my first try scorer. I'll go Stafford Tower.
Very
Next
nice.
game on Sunday is a very good game. Is the Roosters up against the Warriors? Um, very new. Some very new changes for very big new changes for the Roosters. And do you want to name them out, D?
Yeah, well, first one I can spot, Drew Hutchison is in for the number 6 and Sam Walker as well, with no Luke Keary. Look at the ins and outs. That is unreal ins. We have Ben Marshek, Egan Butcher, Suwali, Ikavalu, Butcher, Walker, Hartapower, Radley. The outs, they have Sulaku Fafita, Lachlan Lamb, Lindsay Collins, and Luke Keary. It is ridiculous the amount of outs and how much star players are right there. Um, Ikavalu on the bench at the number 14. Um, Warrior Hargreaves is also on the bench. Was he on the bench at last game?
He's been on the bench since round 2, so they made that change.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. Well, Radley is a big one included, so that he might get them over the line, but God, the Warriors look good.
Yeah, for
They're
sure. I
halves.
mean,
They're halves.
I just think the Roosters. I mean, how much do you think Luke Keary? Obviously, Luke Keary is their game manager. Very good player.
Yeah.
The first against Manly played absolutely terrific. Against what was the game? Tigers. He was even better. Sam Walker on debut is impressive in the juniors apparently. Sawali's in the reserves. I don't doubt he'll play Sawali, but Sam Walker gets the first crack at halfback. I'm not sure how much pressure he'll be put on by Drew Hutchison and his other players. So Tedesco plays a lot of first receiver, so that'll help them a lot. But yeah, it's gonna be very tough with Luke Keary out for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So what did you think about the Warriors? So the Warriors, I mean, their biggest comeback in the club's history. Um, but outs for them. Peter Hickey is out for a month with an MCL strain. Kane Evans, no, he's in reserves, and Marcelo Montoya makes his debut for the club, the Warriors, and I think that's about that's around the that's it for the Warriors. So could be an even contest here. So how do you think this game will go out? And what do you think about the Warriors?
Oh, the Warriors, I think they're a brilliant side actually. I tipped them in my top eight for this year, and they might be beyond the top eight. Could be in the top four. They proved that against the Raiders, and they could prove it against the depleted Roosters side. I think the Roosters, they have been brilliant. Um, but oh, who did they play last?
The Rabbitohs.
And that's right, the Rabbitohs, and they got beaten by 10. But I got the Warriors here, Dill. I'm going for an upset. I reckon they might get over the line, the Warriors. So I've got the Warriors by 6 points, and my first try scorer, I'm going to go Dave Fusatua. Be an interesting matchup.
Oh, man, this game's so hard to tip. I'm gonna trust my gut and go the Roosters. They're at home. I know no Luke Keary, big out, very big out, and they might not do well without him. It's a hard game to tip, a very hard game to tip, but I'm gonna trust my gut and tip the Roosters. Victor Radley out. I just don't know. Obviously, I think Warriors have won the best back three, and they come to a vast shake for to a Memalo, but I don't. The centers Pompey and Montoya. Pompey was good, Montoya but I mean obviously, um, the the Roosters outside backs are terrific. Tupou Tedesco, Barney Morris again. So I mean they got plenty of try scoring potential there. Same with the Warriors. I'm gonna tip the Roosters here. I just kind of trust them a little bit more. I know Luke Keary's out, but I'm gonna go the Roosters here to win 22 points to 18. And my first try scorer is Joseph Manu. Next game on Monday, Easter Monday, we have the West Tigers up against the Parramatta Eels. Tigers impressive last week, so what did you think about them?
They caused a major upset against the Knights. Yeah, I think they looked all right out there for their first win of the season.
Yeah, for sure. What are the ins and outs?
Oh, okay. So for the ins, Alex Seyfarth, Joey Leilua has been dropped and he's in the reserves. Michael Cheekham also is in the reserve, and Packer also in the reserves. So big change here. No Leilua, and he's gonna find it hard to get back into the starting side. He was dropped last game, wasn't he?
Lalo, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he's gonna find it tricky to get back into this side. Yeah, I don't have much to say about the Tigers, but they look all right.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, I just got new news. Apparently, the Roosters are reportedly set to shift Joseph Marnie to the halves this round.
How far out? So
Yeah.
Hutchinson will go to number 6.
So,
Hutchinson will be out.
uh,
Suwali.
I think that's so stupid. So Wally, look, so Wally's gonna. Oh, who else have they got? I gotta check. This is off topic right now, but so I don't know what they do. They're so stupid. I don't know why they would do that. I don't know why they would even bother doing that. Manu, he plays 5'8". He's just gonna run the footy, which is good. If I assume Sam Walker's still gonna stay there. Or he'll drop to the bench. I don't know. Matt Val if the bench is a bit weird, but I hope they don't rush to Wally, and that's just dumb. Like
Yeah, I
even
agree.
Butcher, I think, is a forward, so you could move him in there, but then they want to be a utility player, so I don't know what they're doing there, but apparently that's used. Thanks, Clarky, mate. so anyway, back to the other game. Yeah,
Yep.
so Tigers impressive last week. And not too many changes there. Michael Cheekamp, so yeah, not many changes you said there. For the Eels, good performance last week against the Sharks. I don't think they were at their best. Obviously, second half, I thought they hit another gear there, and I thought they were very good. Campbell, Gillard, Paula were absolutely outstanding. New core at centre. Who would have thought he's been outstanding the past few weeks. Gutherson's was good as normal. Ferguson was good. The forward pack was good. Um, Bryce Cartwright's named in the reserve, so he's a chance of returning. And I think that is it. Changes wise. Oh, Mitchell Moses. Ryan Madison returns. Forgot about that one. So that's a big in for the Eels. How do you see this game? Rolling out here. Obviously it's at Stadium Australia, so ANZ Stadium. How do you
Oh,
think
is
it
that
will
the new
go?
stadium? Is that the first time that they're the new stadium?
Nah, they played a few weeks. They've been playing last few weeks.
Oh, far out. I haven't even watched any. Um, yeah, Eels. They beat Storm. They beat Sharks quite. They beat Storm only just. But I like the Eels. They look good this year. I think they look better than last year. So I got the Eels. They'll be way too good for the West Tigers. They could cause another upset, but I don't see that happening at all. Um, so I got the Eels here. I got them by 18 points. And my first try scorer, I'm gonna go Steve-O.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm gonna go the Eels here by 14. I'm going to the Eels 30 points to 16. And my anytime try scorer or my first try scorer is Marata Niokore.
Very
So
nice.
that is it for the rounds. It felt like a lot more games there than usual. Obviously, aren't they've stretched it out a bit. One on Monday, two on Sunday, two on Saturday, and then two on Friday and one on Thursday. So a little bit different, but there's quite a few one-sided games here. So it's yeah, we'll have to see how that goes in the end. Anyways, that is it for the podcast this week. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Next podcast will be out next week, and I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys later.